Hello, World Schooling families. Do you wish you had more opportunities to connect with others who understand the unique joys and challenges of traveling and learning on the go? Hi, I'm Suzy, and I'm excited to invite you to a special virtual World Schoolers meetup happening Friday, August 8th at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This is a chance for parents and kids alike to meet, share, and build community. We'll start with warm introductions, then move into small breakout groups to foster deeper connections. We'll finish up with a big group gathering, and the best part is you can join us for the whole hour or just pop in when it works for you and your family. To join this wonderful gathering, check the show notes, look for upcoming events on my website, or grab a calendar link directly from my Instagram bio. Can't wait to see you there. Also, if you're in Denver, Colorado, join us for the in-person World Schoolers Picnic on September 28th from 12 to 3. Look forward to seeing you. Now let's get on to the episode.
Hola and hello. I'm Suzy and welcome to the Wander World School and Slow Family Travel Podcast, where we discuss the stories, logistics, and finances of long-term traveling families and the multitude of ways to learn and educate along the way. Wow, can you believe we've already wrapped up our first full month of the Wander World School and Slow Family Travel Podcast? I want to take a moment and say a huge, heartfelt thank you to all of you for listening and to the incredible guests I've had the pleasure of speaking with so far. I've learned so much from hearing their stories, and it's truly a joy to share space with families who are making such intentional and travel-focused decisions for their lives. And that's why I'm going to be doing something a little different at the end of each month. I'll be releasing a special summary episode where I recap the previous 3 episodes, pull out my favorite memorable quotes, and highlight all the best logistical and financial tips that our guests shared. Plus, I'll do a special deep dive into one specific aspect of long-term travel or moving abroad, giving you even more resources to make your own future journey easier. I also want to answer any listener questions, so please send me an email or use the send us a text at the top of the show notes to give feedback and ask questions. This is a community building effort, so I appreciate your insights. For this month's deep dive topic, I will share our cost of living in Sevilla, Spain, and the websites you can use to research cost of living in other parts of the world too. And before I start the recap, I'll share I am recording this from Tet, Albania, where we have actually not had power all day. So I'm recording this on my phone, and we will see how the quality turns out. But we just had an amazing hike to the Blue Eye. It's a beautiful place here in the Albanian Alps. So more to come on my Instagram. Please follow there, and you can get all the scoop on where we are traveling to this summer. So let's start by recapping our episode with Björn. In our very first interview episode, I chatted with Björn Boy, a German entrepreneur and father of 2, who has already taken his family on an incredible 16-month, 25-country world trip. Now they are preparing for their biggest adventure yet, leaving Germany for an open-ended journey, starting by shipping their custom RV to North America. Shared the family's preferred travel style, relying on their house on wheels to explore nature and hike extensively with their young children. We dove into the practical side of their travels, including their monthly budget of around 5,500 euros a month and their unique hybrid approach to education, which combines world schooling with a formal German remote school curriculum. Björn also revealed an exciting new resource he's developing called LinkEase, an app designed to help like-minded traveling families find each other and connect on the road. This conversation is packed with insights on RV travel, long-term budgeting, and the future of community for nomadic families. The memorable quotes I've pulled out are in regards to his daughter's enthusiasm for their next trip. He says, I asked her if it's okay if we go on a world trip next year, and she said, yes, Dad, that's all right. I think 1 year of school is enough for me. And in regards to why he was inspired to make a new family connecting app called LinkEase, he thought, how great would it be if we had a map where you can see other families with like-minded people and same-age kids. And maybe there are some families just around the corner. We can just catch up and they can have a play date. Björn shares his favorite RV travel websites, as well as his own Instagram documenting their travels, and their Nomad Kids podcast highlighting German-speaking traveling families. Don't forget to check out LinkEase if you're a traveling family to find other families nearby. Links are in the show notes. On our second episode, we featured Leanna, a a screenwriter and life coach who moved to the beautiful seaside village of Estepona, Spain. Seeking a slower, more connected lifestyle, she embraced the Spanish concept of mañana and found a way to reconnect with her family's Iberian roots. Leanna shared her entrepreneurial journey, which began with running a gap year program for young adults before she pivoted to create the Spain Abroad Creative Hub. This flexible world schooling hub offers families a unique combination of beautiful apartment rentals and community spaces, including a digital cafe for teens and a whimsical children's library. Leanna discussed the importance of tech balance, the joys and challenges of Spanish bureaucracy, and how her family funds their life abroad through their business. This conversation is a wonderful guide to creating a life and a business that truly aligns with your family's values. Leanna shared some memorable quotes, including learning to embrace the Spanish pace of life from her handyman. He said, "We're going to go paddleboarding because you're acting like an American in Spain right now, and you need to be a little more Spanish." And so essentially, he made us stop and break. It didn't matter if shelves didn't get up in time. That was not the most important thing. And secondly, she quotes that on her daughter's innate love for travel, that when you ask her what her favorite smell is, she will still say her favorite smell is the airport. She loves it because it means we're going somewhere new. Leanna shared her World School offerings, which are also linked in the show notes. On our third episode, I spoke with Moira Mills, a mother who's traveling the U.S. full-time with her son. Moira detailed how they made this lifestyle sustainable, almost exclusively through house sitting, which dramatically reduced their accommodation costs. She shared the incredible statistic that in one full year of travel, they only paid for 27 nights of lodging. That's incredible. Our conversation also explored their approach to education, as Moira practiced unschooling with her son, a philosophy she herself grew up with. She explained unschooling as a child-led learning journey where academic subjects are discovered organically through real-world interests. As a human design coach, Moira discussed how she funded their travels and her goal of raising an adaptable, confident son through their adventures. The memorable quotes that she shared are about the incredible savings from house sitting. She is quoted, "For the entire year, we spent 27 nights in Airbnbs, which was a total of $1,700 for the entire year." That's a very low accommodation cost and very helpful to having more time freedom and financial freedom. Her second quote is how unschooling connects learning to real life. She says, "It's about what you care about. You want your animals to thrive, so you're learning math to be able to formulate the best diet so that they're thriving. You're going to find all the subjects, but you don't think in terms of subjects. You think in terms of what makes you come alive." If you're interested in pet sitting through trusted house sitters, make sure you sign up using the link in the show notes for 25% off. I'll be doing a deep dive in this topic in the future, but for now, know that the basic membership is a great way to start. I also shared Moira's resource recommendations in the show notes. Okay, so for this week's deep dive, we're getting right into one of the most requested topics, the cost of living. I'm going to peel back the curtain on what our family of four has personally experienced with costs here in Spain. I also want to highlight some great resources you can use to get a clearer picture of what your own expenses might look like, no matter where you dream of going. And that brings me to something really important I want to talk about before we even get into the numbers. It's so easy to see what others are doing and start comparing. Some families travel on a super tight budget, while others might have an experience that comes with higher costs. The most important thing to remember is that there's no right or wrong way. The only best way is the one that aligns with your family goals and finances. So please don't let comparison be the thief of your joy. There will always be someone taking a more extravagant trip or visiting that one dream location you can't make work right now, and that is perfectly okay. One of the best practices I've cultivated is JOMO, the joy of missing out. It's about practicing the art of being genuinely happy for someone else's journey without it negatively affecting my own. Sure, we can be inspired by one another. That's what I hope this podcast does. But if you ever feel like this content isn't serving you, it's always okay to take a break. Focus on being grateful for all the wonderful things you do have in your own life. Last note, we are grateful for remote work, so we have income currently, which allows us to be a bit more flexible in the budget than families who might be taking time off from work. All right, let's pull back the curtain. What does it actually cost to live in Spain for our family of four? For this breakdown, I'm going to focus only on our day-to-day spending in Sevilla. So I'm not including the boring stuff like life insurance or other routine bills from back home, since those vary per person and family. It's important to remember that these costs fluctuate. As anyone living in Europe knows, the exchange rate has not been our friend lately, making everything about 10% more expensive for us now than it was even back in January. I track every dollar and euro in our spending tracker, just like I have since 2018. When you average it all out, we've spent about $8,000 a month for these last 6 months in Spain. So where does all that money go? Let's start with rent. Initially, we were in a furnished 4-bedroom house with a pool. Yes, it sounds a little bougie, and it kind of was, but it was the first place we found that was close to the kids' school and would let us rent for just 8 months, which was our initial time here. That was 2,500 euros a month, jumping to 3,000 when the pool was open. We've since moved to a more budget-friendly apartment that's 1,400 euros a month, so about $1,570 a month, plus about 100 euros for utilities, and it still has a community pool, which is awesome. It is a 4-minute walk to the kids' school, so we can also cut out the car expense largely in the future. For groceries, with great low-cost options like Aldi and Carrefour, our family of 4 spends between $800 US and $1,000 US a month. Eating out at restaurants and cafes, which includes while traveling and socializing, and also the kids' school lunches, which usually run about $200 a month. This category is about $800 to $1,200 US a month for us. We also have a kid category for kid stuff like games, birthdays, clothes, school supplies, as well as family activities. And these together average about $500 US a month. Our personal spending is between $200 to $400 a month and includes gift and charitable giving. Then we have the big ones. Our dedicated travel fund for hotels and flights have averaged about $1,500 a month since January. This included a trip to Valencia, 10 days in Morocco, a conference for me in Santiago de Compostela, weekends to Cadiz and Gibraltar, and a long weekend in northern Spain, as well as my trusted house sitter, home exchange, and people like us, home swapping platform annual fees. More on these options on a later podcast. While I try to use points and miles as much as possible, especially for the flights to and from Europe, sometimes it's just not practical. Transportation, including a 5-month car rental and other bus and train tickets, comes to about $500 US a month. OK Mobility offers fantastic subscription models, so you can rent a car for 3+ months for a very reasonable rate. And finally, school. This will obviously vary widely for every family, but for our 2 schools and a private school with an after-school activity program, we spend on average $1,500 a month. For us, this is very reasonable, considering it is one of the main reasons we moved to Sevilla, to have this trilingual opportunity, but it does add up. I also include my Spanish in-person and Preply courses in the school category as well. It all adds up, but it gives you a real-world look at one family's cost of living abroad. So that's a detailed and honest breakdown of our family spending in Sevilla. It's incredibly helpful for listeners to see real numbers, but remember, there are definitely families doing this for less, and I'm sure plenty doing long-term travel for even more a month. One of the services I provide is individual money and travel coaching to help you put together a savings and financial plan to help you meet your family travel goals. Next month, I'll be opening up coaching sessions, and the first 3 people to sign up will be absolutely free. So stay tuned for more information in July. Okay, so you may be thinking, sure, Suzy, this is great to have an idea of your numbers in Spain, but what about the countries I plan to visit? The internet does provide people. There are 5 websites I'd recommend to help you get a financial snapshot of costs in different cities and countries. Also, don't hesitate to reach out in some Facebook or Reddit groups too and ask around. Okay, the first website I'll cover is Numbeo. Numbeo.com is best for detailed crowdsourced data. It is arguably the world's largest and most comprehensive crowdsourced database for cost of living. It provides highly detailed, itemized costs for everything from a liter of milk and a monthly transit pass to the price of a 1-bedroom apartment in and out of the city center. Because the data is contributed by thousands of users, it's constantly being updated. A key feature is its powerful comparison tool that allows you to directly compare the cost of living between 2 cities, giving you a percentage difference and breaking down the cost by category, such as rent, groceries, restaurants, etc. We used this originally to compare our Sevilla to Denver cost of living, as well as with Madrid when we were first weighing our options in Spain. If I recall, Sevilla was about 20% less cost of living than Madrid and 30 to 40% less than Denver. Nomad List, which is now nomads.com, requires a $99 one-time membership fee, and it's specifically designed for remote worker community, which can be really helpful if one or both parents is working online to help fund your travels. While it has extensive costs of living data for nomads, expats, and families, it also includes crucial information that other sites don't, such as average internet speeds, safety for women, air quality, and the best places to work from. It's a subscription-based service, but the sheer volume of relevant, curated data is often worth it for those serious about this lifestyle. A key feature is that the site uses a dynamic filtering system that allows you to find cities that match your specific budget, weather preferences, and other lifestyle factors. This is most likely targeted more towards digital nomads without children, but there did seem to be some family information. We did not pay for this service, though, but if you use this resource, please let me know your thoughts. Number 3, Expatistan. Number 3, Expatistan. This website is best for simple city-to-city comparisons. Similar to Numbeo, it's a crowdsourced cost of living calculator that excels at direct comparisons. It's got a very straightforward interface, very user-friendly. You just simply enter 2 cities and it provides a clear cost index, showing you how much more or less expensive your target city is compared to your current location, with detailed price breakdowns for food, housing, and transportation. The visual color-coded price map of the world gives you a quick overview of which regions are more or less expensive. So these comparison options are most helpful if you know your current cost of living, which is why expense tracking is so important, and the first step of creating any family travel financial plan. Okay, so our 4th option is the Earth Awaits. It's best for personalized budget-based city discovery. It's a unique tool that works in reverse. Instead of looking up a city to see the cost, you input your desired monthly budget, family size, and lifestyle preference, from lean to opulent, and it generates a list of cities around the world that you can afford. It's an excellent resource for discovering new potential destinations that you might not have even considered, especially if you're just starting out and you're not even sure how you're going to narrow down the places you plan to visit. A key feature is the ability to filter results by crime rates, pollution levels, and other quality of life metrics, in addition to budget. All things you may be especially focused on as a family. Our last website I'm going to feature today is budgetyourtrip.com. It's best for vacation and shorter-term travel budgeting. While the other websites are more focused on long-term living and slow travel, budgetyourtrip.com is an excellent resource for planning shorter trips or getting a feel for daily travel costs. It provides average daily costs for destinations based on 3 travel styles: budget, mid-range, and luxury. This is incredibly helpful for understanding what you might spend on food, local transportation, and entertainment per day as a traveler rather than a resident. It breaks down costs into travel-specific categories, which helps you estimate that realistic budget for your trip of any specific length. Even if you are slow traveling, you may find yourself planning shorter trips in the local region, so this can be really helpful. I hope these resources are helpful in your travel planning process. And that's a wrap on this June summary episode. Please go back and listen to episodes 3, 4, and 5 if you have not yet had a chance to. And please review and share this podcast with a friend. Join me on Instagram at SUZYMay.wander and let me know if you have any other favorite cost of living and travel resources in the comment of this episode's soundbite. Hasta luego!